Southeast Asia. It pulls you in. The heat, the smells, the chaos. It's a sensory explosion. A kaleidoscope of cultures, ancient temples, bustling markets, pristine beaches, the promise of adventure, of escaping the ordinary. The West feels a million miles away. For some, it's a siren song. A chance to reinvent themselves, to chase dreams, to live life on their own terms. But beneath the surface, a darker current flows. Manila, a city of contrasts. Glimmering skyscrapers cast shadows on sprawling slums. The air thick with exhaust fumes and the smell of street food. Hope and desperation collide on every corner. It was here that Dave Bauer, a young American entrepreneur, decided to plant his flag. He was drawn to the energy, the raw potential. Manila hummed with possibility. He had a vision, to build a life different from the one he left behind. A life fueled by passion, not routine. Dave had a nose for opportunity. He saw gaps in the market and moved very fast. He opened a dating service, connecting lonely expats with local women. Business boomed. Next, he opened a tattoo parlor, catering to the growing tourist crowd. His designs, bold and unique, quickly gained a following. Things were good, maybe too good. Success, especially for a foreigner, attracts a lot of attention, not all of it welcome. It started subtly. Gifts expected by local officials, processing fees for routine paperwork, petty extortion, a way of life in a system rotten to its core. Dave, initially naive, soon understood the rules of the game. Keep the wheels greased or the wheels come off. But his moral compass wouldn't let him play along. He refused to be complicit in the corruption. He believed in honest work, in earning his success. He wouldn't be bullied into paying bribes. It was a dangerous stance to take. The knock on the door came in the dead of night. No warrant, no explanation. Just armed men and accusations, trumped-up charges of violating business permits. A common tactic. Dave was thrown into the back of a van and taken to Camp Bagong Diwa, a notorious detention center. The nightmare was just beginning. The cell was overflowing with humanity. The air thick with the stench of sweat, urine and fear. The guards, jaded and cruel, ruled with an iron fist. Dave was just another source of income in their eyes. Days bled into weeks, and weeks into months. Time seemed to stretch endlessly, each day blending into the next, with a monotonous regularity that was both numbing and terrifying. The outside world, his life, his dreams, faded into a distant memory. He often found himself staring out of the small, barred window, trying to catch a glimpse of the life he once knew, but all he saw was a reflection of his own despair. Food was scarce and barely edible, clean water, a luxury, disease spread like wildfire. The prison was a breeding ground for illness, with inadequate medical care and unsanitary conditions exacerbating the situation. Every cough, every fever was a potential death sentence. Sleep offered little respite. Haunted by nightmares and the constant fear of violence. The nights were long and filled with the sounds of suffering, cries for help, the clanging of metal and the occasional chilling silence that followed a particularly brutal altercation. He witnessed firsthand the brutal efficiency of corruption. Guards and officials operated with impunity, their actions unchecked, and their pockets lined with the desperation of those they were supposed to protect. Justice was a commodity, bought and sold to the highest bidder. Trials were a farce, predetermined outcomes based on who could pay the most. Innocence and guilt were irrelevant in the face of greed. Every day the guards offered him a way out. They dangled freedom in front of him like a carrot on a stick, knowing full well the price was beyond his reach. Pay a fine and walk free. It sounded so simple, yet it was an impossible choice. The fine was exorbitant, a sum that would leave him destitute even if he could somehow gather it. But the fine was everything he had. He'd already sold his few belongings, borrowed from fellow inmates, and even considered more desperate measures, yet it was never enough. He clung to the hope that the American embassy would intervene, that someone would see the injustice. He wrote letters, pleaded his case, and prayed for a miracle. Each day, he waited for a response, for a sign that someone, somewhere, cared about his plight. The hope was a fragile thing, but it was all he had left. Section 7. Freedom's bitter taste stripped bare and sent home. In the bustling streets of Manila, life moved on, indifferent to the plight of one man. After months of agonizing uncertainty, Dave was released. No explanation, no apology. Just a cold, indifferent dismissal. He stumbled out, the world around him a blur of unfamiliar faces and places. He was simply dumped on the street, a broken man. His business? Gone, his savings confiscated. The life he had painstakingly built was now in ruins, reduced to nothing in the blink of an eye. All he had left were the clothes on his back and the scars etched on his soul. His eyes, once full of hope and ambition, now reflected a deep, unending sorrow. The weight of his experiences bore down on him, visible in every weary step he took. He returned to America a stranger in his own land. The familiar sights and sounds of home now felt alien, as if he had been transported to a different world. The bustling airport, the hurried travellers, all seemed to move in a different rhythm, one he could no longer follow. Haunted by the experience, unable to shake the feeling that a part of him was still trapped in that cell. Night after night he lay awake, the memories replaying in his mind like a relentless, torturous film. The darkness of his room mirrored the darkness within him. He carried the weight of his ordeal like a leaden cloak. Each day was a struggle, each moment a reminder of what he had lost. The burden of his past clung to him, an invisible shackle that refused to let go. Yet, amidst the despair, there was a flicker of resilience, a faint hope that one day he might find a way to rebuild his shattered life. Section 8. Scars on the soul, the unseen wounds of injustice. The physical wounds eventually healed, but the psychological scars lingered. The paranoia, the distrust, the nightmares. The world had lost its innocence. He had looked into the abyss of human greed and emerged forever changed. He struggled to rebuild his life, to find his footing in a world that now seemed alien and uncaring. His story is not unique. It's a stark reminder that paradise often comes at a price. Section 9. Beyond the beaches, the true cost of paradise. Southeast Asia, with its allure and beauty, also harbours a dark underbelly. Corruption is insidious, woven into the fabric of society. It preys on the vulnerable, the naive, the dreamers. Dave Bauer's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that behind the postcard-perfect beaches and smiling faces, a darker reality can lurk. It's a warning to tread carefully, to be aware of the pitfalls that await the unwary traveller, to remember that in some corners of the world, justice is a luxury few can afford. Section 10. A cautionary tale navigating the shadows of corruption. In this chapter, we delve into the intricate and often hidden world of corruption that can pervade even the most picturesque and seemingly tranquil places. This is not an indictment of Southeast Asia as a whole. Rather, it is a reflection on the challenges that can arise in any region where corruption takes root. Southeast Asia, with its rich cultural heritage and stunning landscapes, is no exception. It's a call for awareness. For travellers, understanding the local dynamics and being aware of potential pitfalls is crucial. It's about knowing that while you explore new horizons, you must also be mindful of the shadows that may lurk. A plea for travellers to be informed, to be vigilant. Knowledge is your best defence against falling prey to corruption. Equip yourself with information about the places you visit, the common scams, and the ways to protect yourself. To understand that paradise can be a dangerous illusion. The serene beaches and lush landscapes can sometimes mask the darker elements that operate beneath the surface. Always remember that appearances can be deceiving. Corruption thrives in the shadows. It finds its strength in the hidden corners of society where it can operate without scrutiny. These are the places where vigilance is most needed. It feeds on silence and apathy. When people turn a blind eye or choose to remain silent, corruption gains power. It is the collective indifference that allows it to flourish. By shedding light on these injustices, we can start to combat them, Speaking out, raising awareness, and supporting those who fight against corruption are essential steps in this battle. Dave Bauer's story is a reminder that even in the most beautiful of places, darkness can lurk. His experiences highlight the importance of being cautious and aware, no matter how idyllic the setting may seem. It's up to us to navigate those shadows with caution, with awareness, and with a commitment to justice. Each of us has a role to play in this ongoing struggle. By staying informed, vigilant, and proactive, we can help to create a world where corruption has no place to hide. Let us move forward with a sense of purpose and a dedication to making a difference.